Hello there and welcome to this Intelligent Briefing. I'm Jess Phillips, Director of Strategic Content at Linchpin Media. In this edition of our Deep Dive series, I'm speaking with Oliver Bendig, CEO at Matrix42. He highlights the important role that automation will have in enabling organisations to secure their digitalisation journeys, as well as the benefits of a platform approach to security and service processes. Good morning, Oliver. Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Can I just ask you to give a brief introduction to our viewers, please?
Yeah, so my name is Oliver Bendig. I'm the CEO of Matrix42. Yeah, so I'm in this space where we are digital workspace management for quite some time, almost 20 years. So I always joke, some people say I have an opinion about this market that I'm happy to share today.
Can you introduce us to Matrix42 and your value proposition?
So first of all, Matrix42 is a software vendor we are focused on what we call the digital workspace and management and security for the digital workspace. And this is very important at the moment for customers. It was already important before COVID, but it's now even more important. It got accelerated through COVID because people want to work from anywhere, anytime, any device. And IT is actually challenged with that, and that needs management and security. So overall, you could say we live in a world of complexity, and what customers are looking for at the moment is the easy button when it comes to managing and securing the digital workspace, and that easy button is Matrix42. And to maybe sharpen this a little bit around what's the value that we create for customers. So first of all, I would say we are masters in automation. So big value is what I call do more with less, because more complexity can't be addressed with just more manpower, right? So you need automation to find a way out. And we are masters in that, automating deployment of applications, automating processes, automating management and security as a whole. The second value that we create is around what I call happy users, right? So we believe when employees in an organization are happy and they get everything they need to get work done, at the time they want it, at the device they need it, that they are more happy, and more happy users create more happy customers and are more productive. So we call this a great digital employee experience. That's a big value for our customers. And last but certainly not least, a big benefit and value of our solutions is in the area of compliance. And what I mean with that is we help customers to optimize security, right? So that people can securely work with any device in the world, anywhere in the world. But also compliance in terms of costs, for instance, that we help customers to save significantly infrastructure and license costs. That's a big value proposition of our platform, right?
So can you tell us how customer demands have changed over the last year and how you have responded?
COVID was challenging, I guess, for every organization in the world, right? And if you look at the last 12 to 15, 18 months, we are in a phase that I call now normal, right? Because the old normal, we probably won't go back there, but we are in a now normal, and that probably won't also last forever because we are on this way on our next normal phase and never normal phase. And to come back to your question, I mean, what was the ad hoc request that we have heard from customers? It was obviously about, I need to send my people to remote locations. I need to send my people to home office. How can I manage that better, support processes, but also how can I secure the employees while they're working from home? Because the challenging piece is also, we all know when you work from different locations, you'll have also more attack surfaces. And that is something where we can help with our solutions in terms of data security, malware protection, and so on. So to come back to your question, I think the immediate response was really help me to deploy mobile phones, smartphones, tablets, PCs, laptops, etc., quite fast. So customers have done that with our solution, and also increase security. Yeah, that is like was the big challenge in what I call the now normal.
And what are some of the key challenges your customers are grappling with right now?
It's great that you asked, because again, this next normal, never normal phase has a different flavor, because we all know by now this remote work-in and flexible work-in, the 360-degree workspace, the anywhere workspace won't disappear, right? I mean, we were preaching this for years as Matrix42, that work is not a place anymore, it's a thing you do. So organizations adopt to that and need to adopt to that, and IT processes need to be adopted to that. And how I look at this, the conversations that I'm having at the moment with CIOs and CISOs in the world, it's much more about the long-term strategy for my digital workspace. And it's obvious, because digital transformation is like the biggest opportunity of our generation. And every business is nowadays a digital business, as we all know. And where do you perceive digital transformation the most? At the endpoint, at the workspace. So that is a very, very crucial service by now for clients that needs management and security. So to make this a little bit more concrete, what do we hear at the moment from customers? What they want to, or what they need to address. So a couple of things that come into my mind. So the first one is really about cloud transformation, right? I mean, to do cloud transformation, the first thing that you need to do is to create transparency. What do I have in infrastructure in terms of applications and devices and infrastructure? Which workload can I move to the cloud? So that is something that where we help with our solutions. The second thing, frankly, is also related to a little dilemma, how I call it, because customers need to innovate. Yeah, there are higher demands from end users, but at the same time, they need to reduce costs. They need to focus on cost improvement activities. And that there's a kind of dilemma, because innovation needs investment, and at the same time, you need to save costs. So where we help is especially on cost optimization in terms of process automation, license management optimization, license spending optimization, cloud expense management. So this is on the agenda for on many customers at the moment. And then I would say last but certainly not least, it's still about security, because this flexible work style won't disappear. What I always preach and actually discuss with clients is we will probably, even after COVID, see a much more inverted model when it comes to work. Before COVID, it was probably 4 days in the office and 1 day home office. Now it's more like probably an inverted model where we only have 1 or 2 days in the office and the rest in the home office. You know, and IT needs to adapt to that and provide management and security for that.
So can you tell us about the technology tools that modern organizations need to navigate in the new normal? So
from a technology perspective, I mentioned a few things. My background is in technology. I'm coming out of technology, so I love to talk about technology in more detail. But from still a high level perspective, look, management and automation of devices and applications is crucial. Right. And that combined with security is most important. We call the secure unified endpoint management. And even simple things like, how do I provide better remote access or remote support to my people that work from home, that I can actually connect to your iOS device and to your Android and to your MacBook and Windows and actually help you when you have a problem. So that is one thing, secure unified endpoint management. The second thing is related to process optimization, enterprise service management. And if we drill down into that, frankly, it's a lot about artificial intelligence and machine learning, so that the system becomes smarter and smarter and learns with data to provide a better support process. To give you a concrete example, if something goes wrong on your device and you have a problem and you need to open up a ticket, wouldn't it be great that the system has already fixed it before you even recognized it? And that is exactly the kind of technology that we provide, so to have more smartness and cleverness in the platform. That's the reason why we call and why we execute against the vision that we call simplify and secure digital work.
Could you highlight maybe a couple of other examples of use cases for your technology?
Sure. Many use cases you can address with our solutions and our platform, but a few that we see very often. The most important one is probably like a new employee workflow, and that was also important during COVID, especially for the companies that had to increase capacity, people in logistics, in healthcare, etc. So new employee workflow is important for us. And let me run you through this. With our solutions, you can go into an app, you can use our chatbot, or you open a web portal, and you can just request for a workspace for a new employee that starts, so that the manager requests for that, for instance, and you get it automatically provisioned, you get it automatically secured, you get it automatically cross-charged to the right department, and you even get it retired if the person leaves somewhere or the device gets replaced. And this fully automated process is without interaction with IT, and this is what customers like very much, because again, it helps me to address this next level of complexity that we're seeing. So that's one, for instance. The second one is more about what I already mentioned: hyper automation and self-service and break and fix. So if people, the use case that we see most often is something goes wrong, maybe in home office with an application that is not working. Yes, I need help. So it's a classical incident management process. And the system should be smart enough to first give me recommendation. How can I help myself, or already fix it for me? And only in the very last phase, when the system cannot solve it, a human being should be involved, somebody from IT who helps me to fix it, right? So in a nutshell, I would say it's about cleverness and smartness in the use case. It's a lot about automation, transparency, and security.
You've talked about automation already, but tell us, how important will automation be for organizations for enabling secure digitalization?
I think it's one of the most important things. And that, coming back to the way I've started to explain Matrix42, we see a next level of complexity at the moment, also due to COVID. Many different applications, many different devices, many different processes, more security attacks. So I call this the complexity of many and more. And we address that with automation in all areas. So to give you a few examples, Gartner, for instance, calls this AI ops, right? Artificial intelligence operations. And I think that term describes it very well, where we are heading as Matrix42 and where we provide value. Because if something is happening in the infrastructure related to the workspace, you need to have a very, very smart and fully automated solution that helps you to provision services to users, to increase security, to address cyber attacks, and to also help you in a support process. And that is very important. It's crucial at the moment, because once again, I can only reiterate what I already said, is the new world of complexity should not be addressed with more manpower and capacity that you put in. It must be smartness and automation.
So this is a problem that we've been hearing about for years. So how can security teams balance protecting their organizations while not impacting productivity?
Yeah, it's exactly like you said. It's almost a religious discussion, but we are, as Matrix42, and I'm in this camp, security should not be in the way. In fact, if you look at some of the data points from Forrester and Gartner, it was actually shocking last year. That was even prior COVID, that 89% of employees in a survey with more than 5,000 companies and thousands of end users, 89% said that security is in the way. It makes my job more difficult. So our approach to this is security must be built in. From an end user perspective, I should not feel it. It should support me. And to explain this best, I use always an analogy, and that is a car. When you look at a car, it has also a lot of security systems, like a simple security system, like a brake. Yeah, I need that. And that's fine. But a car has also, a modern car has very cool security systems that help me to drive better, like ABS, EPS, that helps me to stay in the lane. So it gives me a better driving experience. And this is exactly how we look at it from a workspace perspective. Security should be built in and give me a better driving experience. In fact, a better digital employee experience. And what we mean with that is on-the-fly encryption, when I exchange data with you, multi-factor authentication, automated patch management, hyper-automated cyber response attacks, endpoint detection and response. I can go on forever. So basically, the idea is that management and security needs to play together and needs to be integrated very tightly together so that the user does not even feel security. He's just protected, And again, hopefully that car analogy helps to explain how we see security. It must be built in and not just bolted on.
Absolutely. And what are the key benefits of a platform approach to security and service processes?
I think there's obviously technical technical benefits that you see there, but there's also organizational benefits. But let me start again with the technical benefits and run you through a use case. I mean, if I work from home on multiple devices and I somehow caught a virus, maybe a very modern one that is using a zero-day exploit, I might not recognize it that the virus in the background steals some data from me and pushes it somewhere into the internet, right? So with an automated and management security process, what you basically can do, you can analyze the anomaly, user behavior analytics, that Oliver is using usually 500 megabytes of data on the different devices. And then there's this one day now where he all of a sudden consumes 10 gigabytes of devices and pushes it into the cloud. So that is suspicious behavior. Our platform recognizes that and reacts to that. And reaction means automation. So again, a reaction could be, let's assign the task to somebody that somebody looks at it. Pretty boring, it's manual. Automation would mean, well, deactivate Oliver's account to crucial services, to SAP, to, I don't know, the cloud storage, etc., or even put the devices that Oliver is using into a quarantine network so that we can do further review, until to, hey, this is definitely a security attack. I can't fix it. Let's reinstall the device automatically, give Oliver a notification that he needs a longer lunch break, and then you come back and you're fully productive again. This is the power of bringing security and management together. And this is exactly what Matrix42 is all about.
And finally, then, how should CIOs be preparing their long-term strategies based on emerging trends and end user demands?
That's a little bit related to the previous question and the second part of my answer to this, which is the organizational impact. So if you look at IT organizations and IT operations, what we have seen the last several years is that there's a big trend in putting a more agile approach in IT operations from an organizational perspective. So we basically see in IT operations what we have seen in development many years ago. More agile, more cross-functional teams, not just silos anymore, that somebody works on security, somebody works on device management, another person works on service management, and it's the next person that works on infrastructure and license management. So what organizations are doing from an organizational perspective is they flip the model to an agile approach. And this agile approach is actually very smart because it helps me to adapt to change much faster, right? For this agile approach, you need a cross-functional solution, we believe, that is not structured in silos, that is actually fully integrated. And this is exactly what we provide. So again, if we talk a little bit about the Gartner terminology there, from a technology perspective, it is AI ops, as I already mentioned. But from a process perspective, we consult customers at the moment to a DevOps approach or DevSecOps approach, that you have an end-to-end process that you can implement in your IT organization, where you can react and adopt to change much faster than with the classical silo approach. And again, from a content perspective, what I recommend everybody is you need to have a flexible solution to adopt to change. That's the reason why we are so passionate about our platform, because we provide a low-code, no-code platform where customers can easily adopt it to their needs. They can build own apps even on it. And that's how you address emerging demands and new end user demands. Because if somebody wakes up, a CEO in a company, and says, I want from IT XYZ regarding the digital workspace, you have then the platform in your hands to say, you know what, that's great, I can do that.
Yeah, you're ready for whatever comes next. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your insights. It's been really good to chat to you.
Same here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.